Yes, welcome to Moving Forward. This is episode 4, right? This is the show where we examine the Trinidad and Tobago music industry and we try to find a way so to properly move forward, right? But as the Black Stallion say, if we don't know from where we come in, then we can't plan where we going. So we will examine the past first, right? And we will reflect on our victories and the mistakes we've made. And so I'm Robin Foster, and I do this podcast along with Mario Russell, DJ Downtown Outlaws. And today we have a special guest for you. We have Robin Imamshah. He's a musician, arranger, producer, sound engineer, writer. And most recently, he's an educator teaching music tech at the University of Trinidad and Tobago. Robin has 50 years in the business. Started as a teenager and now he's grandfather age. So let's welcome him now. Robin, how are you going?
Option, make him feel good then.
Yeah, boy, Robin,
Right?
boy. Right. So usually in this
Mario,
show,
look
I
at
just
Mario smile. Mario
yeah, I just
smile.
let Mario does always openly bowling in this show. Right?
All right.
So Mario, go too hard.
Okay, Robin, for those of who don't know your history, we like to know your history. I know your history long and interesting, so I look forward to hearing some of the things like from when you start, where you start, your love for music, if you start as a child, if you learn to play the guitar as a child, things like that now. I mean, we really want to hear a lot about you and because you're such an interesting person and you made such a big contribution to the music industry in Trinidad and
Right.
we want people to know.
And usually people in Trinidad tend to more know artists than the people behind the scenes now. I know you was in front of the scenes, but it was more behind the scenes. Yeah. So we want to know we want to educate the country about you. So who is Robin Imamshah?
Robin Imamshah, from Tulapuna. Born and raised in Tulapuna, actually. But born in Port of Spain. Most people born in Port of Spain and then, in the hospital or whatever, right? Started music. Music has always been. You hear me properly there?
Yeah. Everybody? Yeah.
It's always been unintended circumstances with me because I, as a kid, I was into a lot of electronics and as a boy, but and I wanted. Wow, something went on with this now.
No, don't worry about that. Nego.
Robin, let me ask a question. Would this be edited or anything?
Well, we may do some small edits and just put on credits, but most of the time it will be switched.
Straight up. Okay.
Straight up switched. All right, like I'm going to you now. Right.
Mm-hmm. So what used to happen basically was with me, it was I wanted stuff, like I wanted to get a electric set as a little kid, right? Mm-hmm. And the old lady and my old man just say that too expensive, really. It was like $400 at the time, and that is way back when,
Whoa. Yeah.
That was a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Could have bought a second-hand car with that type of money.
Yes, true.
Right? Mm-hmm. And they say, no way I ain't getting that. And my mother dragged me head over heels downtown into Port of Spain on Frederick Street to Starhomes and buy me a $25 guitar. Right? And this is my 11th birthday.
Boy. Everybody in the business get a $25 guitar. Even all them big stars. Right. My mother went to Woolworth and bought me a $10 guitar.
Correct. Right? And here's the irony of it all. Mm-hmm. The man who attended to my mother and I was Cliff Harris.
Lord.
He is the one that he was a salesperson there, right?
Right.
And he was there, and he was big in the party. Cliff Harris had his own band. He's from Grandy. He had his own band and thing, right? Mm-hmm. But he used to sell as his main job. And he was playing this big Harmon keyboard in the middle of the store. And then he didn't want to be disturbed. You know, when mother come and say, listen, I want to buy a guitar for you, right? And he bought me this guitar, right? With and a 60 cents. I bought the guitar from him with a 60 cents chord music book, how to play guitar.
Right. A chord book.
And that's a little book, a little like a little pamphlet. You know, it had about 10 pages in it, right? With all TF and G chords and all this kind of thing. And I was so upset with this thing, boy. First of all, I didn't want to get that one with Skeleton. Second of all, Cliff just could not have the time of day for me. It was a time in his life where he was big, you know, music and things like that. And just ironically, I mean, Cliff ended up being the road manager for Chandelier, you know. Yeah. But look at how many years later, right? But that was 11 years old. I was doing that, and I got the guitar, and I started to play it, you know, like, you know, every now and then I'll pick it up because just out of a bad mind and things, and so I started playing music. That was how it started with me, right? And I learned all the oh God, this could be real long, you know, guys. You want all of this?
We want all. That is why we're doing podcasts, because we are no restriction. We want the history, right? You as an educator, when somebody researching Trinidad music, they must pull this and watch it and say, right, that is what happened. You know what I mean?
All right. So, well, I built a tree house. I'll tell you, I was into tech stuff on this. So I built a tree house on almond tree in the front of my house on Eastern Main Road. I used to live on 126 Eastern Main Road, Tunapuna. Right? And I built the tree house, and I built it just specifically to go up inside that tree house and play this guitar, because I'm starting to sing the songs I hear on the radio and things, and I'm singing on such a shit, and I don't want nobody to hear the bad notes I'm playing and all this kind of thing. Right? So that's where I used to go up in the tree house. And then as years went by, the tree house became many different things. A sanctuary where you could go and smoke without your father getting in trouble, right? Or take a girlfriend up and get you food to eat and whatever, you know? Yeah. But that's what the tree house was. And in that tree house is where I started. I used to play, I don't know if you all know, boy, but in radio stations in Trinidad and Tobago many years ago, when I was a kid, you didn't have any local music on the radio, right? It was always, there was a phase, like there was a Latin phase in Trinidad and Tobago where there was only Latin, right? And all the charts, Robin, you might know, or even Mario, but the chart had only Latin music, like Hugo Blanco and all these kind of names, right? My mother used to buy all these records, and there was a big Latin phase that was going on in Trinidad, but no other music, right? And then it changed to where you started to get Benny Goodman, right? And jazz style, right?
Big band, right?
Band era, right? And this is what is playing on the radio. And then, lo and behold, boy, the record shop opposite us. We used to have a gas station opposite us in Tunapuna, and a little record shop between a small barber shop and the gas station was a record shop. And in that record shop, you're starting to hear R&B and I know, like Motown, you know. But that was, you know, in Trinidad and in the world, that was like underground music, you know. That's like how, you know, rockers and dancehall and things that come into Trinidad, you know. You only could get records, and the record have funny labels, all this kind of thing. And I hear this R&B, I love this music, boy, you know.
So it wasn't playing on the radio at all, right?
It can't play on the radio. It wouldn't play. And it had that thing about it. It was about. There was a. I'm not going to say this, and it'll cost me what it will.
Say it, man.
A kind of racism in it, you know, because it was black music, right? Somehow it didn't play on Trinidad radio. Strange as I'm telling you, right? Because the programming in Trinidad radio used to come from the big, like Warner Brothers, all the big and CBS and all the big companies, music, right, was following a trend that used to go on in the United States. And black music in the United States never used to play on mainstream radio. You know?
Yeah. It's a play on black radio.
Used to play black radio.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like when Laundry come out with this radio station or whoever before, that was like an underground radio station where young people want to hear stuff, yeah?
Right, yeah.
So this is the same thing, you know?
But funny enough, David Rudder was saying, right, that he kind of credit that a lot for his development because we used to hear a lot of different music from listening on the radio now. You used to hear all them Latin and classical and this and that, and he get a full sense of music from that.
Well, everybody, me, of course. I mean, I grew up on hearing all this Latin music. I mean, the first song I played on the guitar was some kind of Latin song, you know, because ding 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 check, you know, it was always some sort of cha-cha-cha or samba or some kind of thing like that, you know. And my parents who, you know, I mean, that's the music they used to dance to and all this kind of thing. But as you start to get into as the years start to roll by, right, things start to change. There's a sort of enlightenment coming, you know, and people starting to realize, you know, they have other music other than the big bands and the Hugo Blanco, that young people are saying things. And in Trinidad, that young people turn into Motown and Stax records and stuff like that, which was massive in Trinidad underground, in Booker T and the MGs and all these kind of things. Massive big music, and that's what I was playing. That is my development, you know. Should I go on?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So when you get into when you first think that you was good enough to be in a band or have a band, when did that happen?
That's the strangest thing, right? I am going ahead. Let's stay in this mode now. This is nice. I can see you all that talking, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
When you put me up there by myself, I feel like I am son.
Oh, so you want to see us all the time then?
Yeah. We're over that.
But we want to see you, but it's all right. Okay, well, go ahead now.
But you're not seeing me? You're not
seeing you. But you is who we featuring. We featuring you today.
Okay.
All right. No problem. I will keep it. All right. Look. You could see me and Mario. You could see see me and you. You could see you and Mario. You could see all three.
See all three. I like
see all three. All right.
All three. Yeah.
All right.
So you know what was the question, Robin?
Yeah, I wanted to know when did you think that you was good enough, or you decided to make a kind of career in music? When did that happen?
Okay, a couple of things happened there. One, I stopped listening to the radio at a point in time because them people on the radio stations not gave me music I like. So I used to live in the record shop and start buying records one by one and then loaning them records.
What's the first record you ever buy? I'm curious.
Oh God, I will tell it. Supreme. Baby love, my baby love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I can't forget that one.
And Diana Ross.
Mm-hmm.
Diana Ross and the Supremes. So it was the Supremes at the time, right? Mm-hmm. Then I know Diana Ross was that thing, right? She was still with Barry Gordy. But
don't talk the business now.
Right?
Yeah. Why are your business?
Right. So what that and then Isaac Kings, you know, and that's a little later on, you know, Black Messiah.
Right.
This is where we was on, you know, and around this time, I meet Beaver. I don't even know Carl Beaver Henderson.
The last show we did before you was Carl Beaver Henderson.
Oh, I thought he was going to be on this show, you know.
No,
But,
man. We had to go in depth into
but
everybody, man.
I live in Tulapuna, right? On the Eastern Main Road. Beaver father is a Professor Tom Henderson in UE. So he living in UE quarters. This is a fantastic big house, something, right? And he living in St. Augustine. So in school, in Form 4, this fella stand up and call, the teacher name is Bali, Mr. Bali. And all I understand here, Mr. Bali. It's a thick American accent. I be talking, you know, right? So I tell him, where this man come out from? So I started laughing one day, you know. So after I asked him where he was from, I met him then, and he said, "Oh, he living up the road." And he says he play keyboards and things, right? So I go up to meet him one thing, and we started playing the piano, and then I realized that Beaver went to school in Wisconsin in the States. So he exposed all the black music and thing, right? And so that jamming starts. Now, men come on when they hear us playing and thing, right? Men come to me, Bobby Kwan, who do you believe this? From Blue Ventures, right? Bobby Kwan come to me and ask me to join his band, Blue Ventures, right? And this is Bobby Kwan from Tunapuna, East Boy, just like me. And that's the first one I asked me. And when I hear the music they're playing, boy, all these Latin whole thing.
Right, yeah.
I didn't want to play. I want to play. So I didn't play. I blank him, right? Then come to check Beaver too. Beaver, we into Meters. Robin, there was a band called Meters.
But Meters is one of my favorite bands of all times. I am the ultimate Meters fan.
Look up Pi Pi.
Look up Pi Pi and Sissy Strut and all them things, yeah. Right, yeah.
So we digging up in Meters, but oh God, Meters are called over. Me and Beaver playing.
Oh gosh. Do-do-do-doom.
Right? A slow
Do-do-do-doom.
And how you call it? And the term school concert in St. Mary's College, right? And every year we all kind of classical music, the choir singing and all kind of thing. And the school band is me and Beaver, right? And a fella called Stretch, right? And we go on stage and and the whole place gone mad, right? And all of us in the prison and saying, what in heaven's name is going on here? Remember? White college, you know what I mean? So we did playing Cordova and City Shot, right?
Yeah.
Real backbeat music, right? And this is where the things start, right? But that's us, eh? In the meantime, in Port of Spain, because this is in the east, right? We are basically, Beaver and I, Carl Jacobs, all of us are really east boys, eh? Carl is Avantil, I am Tulapuna because St. Augustine. We more or less east music, right?
East of the lighthouse.
East of the lighthouse, right?
All right, yeah.
Right? And the Port of Spain crew would be men like Casanovas, Monty Williams, them fellas, badass musicians, right? And they on a different head. And I don't know if there's an album that they brought out called Rebirth, Casanova's Rebirth, right? A kind of drawing of them on the cover. And in that album, you started to see the change in music in Trinidad and Tobago. Because they have the old-time classic Latin thing, bebop and all kind of shit, right? And two songs on it. Stand by Silent Family Stone,
right?
And Sing a Simple Song by Silent Family Stone. On that album, you know.
Where you're describing there is the combo era, the beginning of the combo era. Okay.
Right. Now Beaver and I were at the end of the combo era, right? Because before us, they had all these bands, Deltones and Casanovas and Group Solo and all of these different ones, right? That was the combo
yeah,
era.
Deltones. Waggy used to live in the back of me here. Waggy, the drummer, right? Yeah.
God rest his soul, he's dead now.
Yeah, he died. Yeah.
So Waggy, I thought Waggy was an East boy,
No, Waggy from right in Belmont, right where we are talking to you from, right in the back. over the wall,
Yes,
over my
right,
back
right.
wall, Waggy was some in that yard. Waggy,
You're right.
Waggy,
So,
younger brother was my best friend in school, in primary school. And Waggy used to make clothes, he could real sew. He used to make clothes for all of us and
oh
things.
boy.
Yeah,
That sounds good. When Carly and I, when we were living in Florida, we used to go by Wacky to get all the clothes make. Used to make face on your pants and all that.
Yeah.
Joe, man.
Waggy ended up sewing for Earth, Wind and Fire and Isley Brothers and all kind of thing. Yeah, Waggy, yeah. Serious man.
But that era, the change that happened, right? And the change happened because the East-West corridor is a hell of a thing, right? So the West is all the cultural capital, right? Where Belmont, Woodbrook, that is real music men who learn music on piano and all kind of that, the piano teacher and all kind of. The east side of the corridor is more self-taught people like Carl and myself. We had we read book and so we don't follow anything, right? We hear music and we like that, we playing that. So that is how we used to do it. So that ended up with us actually forming our own band. Even I formed my own band because we can't find nobody to play with. We ain't like what they're playing, so we're gonna play our own thing. So this is Last Supper.
All right.
That was when I formed Last Supper. And Last Supper was...
What year, you remember?
It had to be in the 60s because we were still in school. So I was in school in 1971. So Last Supper formed when we was in Form 3.
Ah.
In college.
Okay.
That early? Form 3?
That was, yeah.
Wow.
We used to play in a place called the White Elephant up in Guyana,
Yeah,
right?
White Elephant discotheque up the hill. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
While you were still going to school?
Yeah. That was the big problem. Beaver father nearly kill him. And I remember Carl Tom Anderson. He was supposed to be some kind of doctor or something,
Yeah.
He had all these medicine passes to do it and things.
Yeah.
And he just one day and tell his father, I ain't doing that. You're not going to play music. His father, but no. That was, you have to hide him and thing. You have to hide Beaver and thing, So when you see this, when Tom Anderson looking for his son, right? He bringing out all the police, the special police have in UE.
Yeah.
Looking for Beaver. It's not normal police then. Right? The only way he get away, no matter was national security with Williams at the time. So she kind of tell him to cool himself Beaver by me, and that's a sideline story.
Right. Yeah.
But the change happened with Last Supper in the sense that we never used to play nobody music unless we like it, and we write our own music and play in the club, right? And I didn't know a fellow called Frankie Atwell.
Yeah, Frankie Atwell. Yeah.
Producer.
Yeah, Winifred Atwell, brother.
Arranger.
Oh,
Pianist.
he was Winifred Atwell, brother?
Brother.
I never know that. I never know that. And you see, again educated here.
Yeah.
I know about Frankie Atwell. He was a popular kind of songwriter and producer kind of guy back in the 70s. Right, but I never associate him with Winifred Atwell.
That was his claim to fame. That's how he got into all the advertising agencies and they, in the business that we're in, right? You have to have some sort of lock before they get into to be able to get in. You can't just come in just you go, how to beat down plenty door, right?
Yeah.
So Frankie Atwell was there. And Frankie Atwell come to how you call it, White Elephant, and he was playing and hire us to do a jingle for Carib. He wrote the jingle, right? He just liked the voice and all the band and so on. He wanted it.
You remember how it went?
Yeah, man. In this country,
Carib country, a beer is a Carib. A beer is a Carib. That was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good, man.
Right? You do that. And Robin, I'm sure you had something to do with it.
I had nothing to do with that. I was still in school when that was out. Right? I tell you, Ole was big man and I was a little boy. I was friends with with Joffrey, who is Beaver brother. We were in class together in QRC. And I went home there and Beaver was a big brother, big man, walking and going thing. We was little boys. You know, I come into advertising, okay, I think years later.
Yeah, we end up doing that song and jingle, right? And the pay that he wanted to pay us, and we said nah, right? If you could pay for recording time for us, right?
Okay, all right.
In KH Studios, right? And that's how I write Trinidad Boogie. Give me something.
Okay.
So that was your first recording, Trinidad Boogie.
Yeah.
Official.
Yeah. Of Trinidad Boogie, then the next one was a Trinidad Boogie had a flip side. I can't remember it. Yeah. Oh, the flip side of Trinidad Boogie was a disco version. You used to have a thing called a disco version out there.
Yeah.
So they remove all the lyric and all of that. Right? So that had that version. The second one was Blackball and Come With Me. That is it. You know, but Trinidad Boogie caused even the words of Trinidad Boogie was exactly what young people was looking for at the time. The words say it all, give me something from my homeland, give me something to wave my hand, right? There had no word soca yet, you know. It was just how you call it, just looking for something, right? Because I had a song called NASA. NASA's gone funky.
Funky NASA.
Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
Right.
Funky NASA, right?
And I understand that there's some Trinidadians that play horns on that. Yeah. All right. That was a very popular song, boy. Funky NASA.
Trinidadians play a lot of music in the Caribbean, you know. That funky NASA Trinidadian horns. In ska is Tate, guitarist from Trinidad.
Nerlin Tate. They call him Lynn Tate. Right.
That thing.
Right, yeah.
I know the man well.
Rocksteady. Yeah.
We have to play a big part in the music. So, and it was all. When I was a younger man, boy, I would hear in Barbados, they always say the best musicians come from Trinidad and Tobago. They always say that, you know. Jamaicans say the same thing. Trinidad always had great musicians. We didn't have good recording. Or recorded because we didn't have that kind of industry yet.
So, like, where you record that jingle and thing by KH?
By KH, yeah.
And
I went by KH and I meet Kerry.
Kerry Richards.
I don't even know who.
Kerry Richards, yeah. I heard of him. I never met him actually. I know of him.
KH. It's Kerry. K-E-R-O-Y and Hunt Wong Moon.
Hunt Wong Moon, right. That was LS partner, right.
Right. That's the H and KH.
Right.
The H is Kerry and Hunt.
Kerry and Hunt, right? Okay. Never knew that, but I know it now.
Yeah, Hunt Wong Moon. Kerry he had own electronics store.
Right.
On Frederick.
Okay.
Right? No, Henry Street, sorry. Right? Hunt Wong Moon own tire dealers.
Tire dealers, right. Ellis Chowlin on a story he used to give that Hunt had so much money that Hunt would tell him like a Friday, I feeling they eat a steak and they would go in the airport and fly to Miami and eat a steak and fly back down.
I wouldn't doubt it. Hunt Moon was how you call him? Eric
Williams, yeah.
Family.
Right.
Chinese family, right?
Yeah.
So when after 1970, I could tell you this because it was told to me, right? After 1970 revolution, the Black Power one thing, Eric Williams wanted to show that he's invested in local music.
Okay.
Right? Now Eric Williams was a connoisseur of music, right? It's not just, you didn't just throw it out and say, only take that and replicate your political will, right? It wasn't like that. He wanted to get the music of Trinidad and Tobago out there, just like how any other music is out there, like how Belafonte got out there, right? With Calypso music, he wanted Trinidad music to be out there. That's the theory. He gave Hunt Wamu and Kerry Richards a $250,000 trust, right? It's not a loan, nothing, Guys, get the music. And that's how KH started,
Okay.
That's why people get KH, and when I reached in KH, right, I was, two people there before me was Carol Addison and Wildfire.
Right, yeah.
And then after me came Nappy Myers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just signed to KH, right, to create music and stuff like that, right? And during the course of it, Kerry Richards called me in his office and asked me if I know about Motown and Stax Records. I said, of course, but I only know it from a point of view of an artist listening to the music and liking the music and playing it, And Kerry Richards told me, and this is incredible because Kerry Richards said, and his insight at this point in time was something to behold. He says, all of these record labels have their own studio, right? And every one of those studios have its particular sound, S-O-U-N-D. The Motown song, the Stax song, right? And years later, the song of Philadelphia, right? LA song, New York. Every one of them had their own song. And the reason for that, he didn't know the reason. He wanted to create, to get this studio to make money. By the way, the Chinese people, they know about product, they know about industry, they know about selling, right? They know a la VP Records, you name it, right?
Yeah.
Right? Know those shit, right? And Kerry is the same way. He said we need a product, and to get the product, we need to attract artists from all over the world to come to the studio and record. So I said, well, how do you do that? He said we need to get a song, that's a UND, right? That is how this whole thing started. They put a budget, they say they're going to call it the South Caribbean Song Project. Caribbean Song Project, right? And anytime we do that South Caribbean Song Project, product in the studio, whether it be Maria Afonso or whoever, Dennis Souza, and it is being built as this project. They'll write down, Eric Bishop will write down Soca, S-O-C-A, Soca, right? Okay. South Caribbean. Right?
Okay.
Right. That's what it meant. Like Sobe, it's South Beach, and
right.
Southern California.
And you see, and we were under the impression, I was a little in my early teens and think that it was soul mixed with calypso, which is S-O, because at the time, as I was telling Beaver, I remember buying 45s, one called Calypsoul, C-A-L-Y-P-S-O-U-L, and Funkaiso, F-U-N-K-A-I-S-O by Clive Bradley, and everybody was kind of experimenting at the time,
Right, Rob, when you see that correct, everybody was looking for it. I think what how do you call him? Shorty did. And Shorty's a whole story by itself, right?
Yeah.
Shorty never called it Soca, if you're honest.
S-O-K-A-H.
Yeah, he called it because he wanted to do the same funk, calypso, and all that kind of thing.
Right, and the song that is credited as the first Soca song was Endless Vibrations, and that made reference to a lot of funky, rock your boat, rock your ship, feel like dynamite, to a lot of soul songs. So we thought it was like a fusion of, but years after I interviewed Shorty, and he said no, it was the soul of calypso, where you take the inner beat and bring it out,
Yeah, but this Soca thing has been a big debate for a long time. And I know where it started and what caused that to happen. See, you see,
Well, we need to hear that story.
Shorty was a kind of pariah in the studio at the time because Maestro, right, was signed to KH Records, right? So I don't know if you know if you guys ever heard of Maestro.
Of course. I think Maestro.
Bionic.
I would say Maestro was the
Bionic.
first. I would say Maestro was the first ever soca superstar. I would
agree
say
with
that. I would say
I
that.
agree with that. You know, I'll put him up there. I'll put him up there with Shadow. You know.
Well, right. Well, Shadow was still in a kind of way under the calypso thing, up to Bassman, where it was where the song Bassman was about a bass, and that is how come it ended up having a bass line. But before, calypso didn't really have a bass line. It used to do the walking bass line thing. What Pelham got at is called chord symbols, you know, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, but these guys, Shadow was more soca than all of them, you know, because Shadow was using the correct. And you all know what high life music is, you know?
Right, yeah, the West African music, high life, yeah.
That high life was very, very close to soca, right? The original way we wanted to do soca. Let me tell you something. That was a battle extraordinaire in KH Records. You know. That was unbelievable, you know. When Shorty brought out Endless Vibration, there's no way in the song he mentioned soca, you know. There's no part in the song in the lyric, right?
No.
Okay, because he could not do it. Because he was, if he had done it, he'd have get himself in trouble. Because by this time, Kerry done copyright the name soca.
So the name, wait. The name Soca is copyrighted?
Copyrighted, right? It had a box. Robin, let me tell you a story of how we get a soca, right? I listen to Steel Band, I listen to Party, and it has this massive bass end that's come out and float, right? And then listen to the Laventille rhythm section. It have a man sitting down on one big bass drum. I don't know if you see that, right?
Yeah.
And the whole of the calypsos rest on this thing, right? But we can't reproduce this in the studio because every time we push to try and get it, okay, and we take the record, we mix it, and we go and carry it up to Barbados to master because you could master in Trinidad, right? It's blowing the cotton in Barbados, right? And I used to have to walk $600 US, right? So that as we go and we blow the cotton head, right? We hand them the money so they could put it on the cotton head. The Barbados used to call and say, hey, what, man? When all you're coming up here, make sure you walk with the money for the cotton head, because you know it's on. And it used to happen over and over, right? Me, who used to work with me in the studio was Clive Bradley, God rest his soul, right? Now, Clive Bradley was like I couldn't write for horns, right? Write guitar, piano, all that, yeah. But the horn lines and things you need to be able to. So he used to be there in the studio with me, and Clive was the worst because Clive know about the steel band thing, right? The song of the steel band is get, right? And I'm in the studio trying to get this song onto the record, right? So when we're mixing a tape, suppose it was 8-track tape, then 16-track tape to 2-track, right? When you're mixing it and the tape saturating a little bit, it's fattening up the thick song and nice and massive. Yeah, right? So you play it back and it's good. And Eric Nisha used to say, Robin, them thing is supposed to be in the red, you know, right? And it's like that, you know. Every time Clive is about, you do so. Believe that fucking fader right there.
Brados, boy.
Yeah, boy, you know. I mean, how I learn production, Robin and Mario, is in KH, right? Because the music, right, is sounding good, but they have equipment to deal with and media. The musician never used to take on. That way our producer come in, you know. Understand
so,
media.
As an engineering geek myself, when you first went there, it was 8-track or 16-track?
8-track.
8-track.
I reach Trinbago on 8-track.
That's a 8-track, what, 1 inch, 2 inch, what it was?
Half-inch.
A half-inch 8-track. Okay.
Yes, half-inch.
And like who make, you remember the maker of the machine?
It's I think it's
Ampex,
Ampex.
8-track. All right.
Right. And
Okay.
then we went to the Otari, right?
Otari 16. No,
16.
when I went down there, it wasn't Otari, man. The Otari come long after. The Otari was the 24-track, right?
All I remember is
It was what you call it, man? Like what they had in Criteria in New York. What is called that? And there's make a board too. There's make a mixing board and a 2-inch.
API.
No, not API.
See, Robin, I would remember like the
Less than have a board. Less than have one on the board. MCI. That is what it was. Not API. MCI. Right.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
And what all I remember is how, as a producer, I go inside and the first thing I go ask you is how much tracks you have. And if you tell me 8 tracks, then I don't know how I'm recording the thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You read a section first, then the horn section after, and then the vocals and overdubbing vocals, you know.
And then you bounce it down, and then you do, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I start in the days of 8-track too. I started 8-track. So I know how it go.
But you see, my entry into it will be different from yours because you're more technical than me. You like Frank. You know, Frank and you all are the same. Frank.
Me, I grew up watching you and Frank.
Yeah, but
I'm more technical.
I'm a more production engineer. You know, production. You know, mixing board, give me the gun, mix it fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there'll be technical guys like Frank. When I was in Charlie's Roots with Frank, okay, I used to mix. But Frank is the one who come and ask me for, Robin, how much bass you using today? Right? I put in about 60 hertz at 3 dB on the bass. Okay, good. I put in 14 subwoofer there. Right? You know, before Frank used to get mixing, because he would put up the PA how he like it, and I could blow up all the bottom.
Yeah, I remember when the first gig Taxi ever do in Westmall car park, and you playing guitar on the stage and walk off the stage and come to tell Frank how the PA song is. Robin, go back on the stage, leave me alone.
Frank and I go back way, you know, big history, you know. People don't know that, right? But, you know, that was the early days. But basically, the studio started out to get the Soca song, right?
Right.
We started out blowing cutting heads in Barbados, right? Then we started to realize what was happening, right? How to get the bass on. So you got to use a compressor, a URI compressor, right? And an equalizer. Forget the name of the equalizer. We set it up in a box. And Frank made this box for me. So I put the compressor and equalizer inside there, right? A parametric equalizer. SAE.
SAE. Oh, okay.
Remember that name?
Yeah.
SAE. So I get the bass, the song, right? And it's in this box, right? So anytime the kick drum come down to the mixing board, you patch it into the box, out, back into the mixing board, right? And it's going to tape, it's compressing, so it's hitting the tape hard.
Yes.
Fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was the song we was getting. When that thing started kicking, so boy. Well, the first man who get a little taste of it was Byron Lee, because Byron Lee, well, I'm good with Ellis. Right? Ellis and Byron Lee. So Byron Lee comes to the studio, they say he hear that. He say he won that, right? Ellis, Kerry Richards say, you can't be sending this out to the studio. You gotta come to the studio. And you have to pay $1,200 for that box. But that's the first plug-in. That's the first plug-in, if you understand me.
So
right?
that is the origins of what we call the pong.
The pong, the wutong.
The pong,
You know?
yeah.
And you know what song it's on? Tiny Whiny.
Right,
Wow.
right.
You listen to the kick drum on Tiny Whiny. You hear?
But Leston Paul said Tiny Whiny is the first ever drum machine song.
Yeah, well, Well, all I get was the truck come down on a multi-truck, right? We didn't record it.
Right, yeah.
We come down to
He
mix
said
it.
Errol Wise was supposed to play drums on it, and Errol come too late and they wanted to start, so they find this drum machine and put it up. And Errol come and find, I still had to get paid. Yeah.
Now, Errol, I have stories with Errol.
Yeah.
What do you call him?
Oh, you mean Vino? That's my boy. From up right here in Belmont by me, yeah.
And Michael Toby.
Toby.
That's the TTC Soca song.
Well, but wait. Finish off the Soca thing. That, you see that whole that TTT thing, that's a whole section we had to do.
Yeah.
So, let finish off the Pong and KH and thing. Another thing about KH too. KH had a sound because the studio was a RCA design studio, right? And the room had a certain reverb.
It's a song stage.
Right.
Long ago, recordings are done in song stages, you know.
Right.
The whole orchestra will be there.
Right.
Mic up the orchestra. There's only 2 tracks. So all the orchestra in 1 track and the next microphone is for the lead singer. So they have to have the room. If you want this type of reverb and thing, you have to have the room to give it. Right? And this is how the song of studio started, because when you go to Motown, which by the way, KH paid for me to go to Motown, to Muscle Shoals.
Why? But you had the history, boy. You had to tell me all of that.
Soca. They want Soca. So I go to Motown, and Motown is a fucking library. It's a library, right? And all the bookshelves still there. So the room have a song. When you hit a snare, it go because it's bouncing up around all the shelves. So it's refracting inside there, right? And they're using that. You know, if you listen to early, not LA Motown, because Motown moved to LA after, but in Detroit, in the early Motown, you hear it all on the snares and the toms and things, you know. They had no kick drum in the early Motown, only snare and tom, right? That's purposely done to keep the people in the States on the white radio stations happy, because they felt in the United States that bass and kick drum and walking bass was African music, right? So they will take it off. And early Motown only had back to back to back to back to back, all the way in the top of the music. Sing. And no scatting, no kind of scatting like that, right? Everything had to be straight up. That's early Motown, right?
Yeah, when they say they made it to you, black people only had cheap little set, so the song got on them on that cheap set. Yeah, they had, yeah.
So that is the studio that they did it, that gave that Motown that particular song. And then when I went to Muscle Shoals now, this is in Atlanta, there was a bunker, a concrete bunker, right? And inside they build the studios. There's actually 2 rooms, right? It's real isolated, right?
That's Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals.
In Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah, Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Yeah.
Atlanta, Alabama. Right? And they're this is where I get the most input onto what.
They have a nice documentary on Muscle Shoals. You could get on Netflix.
Yeah, I show it in class also, in my class, because we do the history of recording, eh? But here's the thing with Muscle Shoals on Trinidad and Tobago. I went there because of a fellow called Graham Goodall. Graham Goodall was Byron Lee's engineer, a white Australian guy, right? And he was the agent for that same, not API, MCI, mixing boards, right? And Muscle Shoals was now installing the new Neve and removing the MCI, right? Okay? So all I was going there because of KH. They was doing double duty now, right? Because they wanted the limited studio. He always install it. And when they install the board there, the musicians there who are by now very famous, all Rolling Stones and Sting and Wilson Pickett and all them recording muscle shows, right? Okay, and the sound of the room, that the 9-foot grand Yamaha drums in a boot. This first time I ever see drums was in a boot. Before that, drums was just in a room down by KH, right? In the same way down in Mutong, drums are always set out in the main studio. They used to get the reverb of the studio, right? But in the booth now, you can literally tailor make the song of how you want the drums to sound and so forth. But the guy told me, Robin, his name is Robin something or something Robin. He's a bassist, right?
Okay.
And he told me that the main reason song band studios like Butong and Stat and Muscle shows happen is because one, they have a consistent room song, and two, they have a consistent musician, right? They have a rhythm section, a bassist, a guitarist, a drummer, and a keyboardist, and they're always working together. Anybody come there, they're what they use.
Yeah.
So,
Motong had the Funk Brothers, right? Yeah. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I go back to that now, right? And I tell him, Kerry, I say, Kerry, here what we are doing. One, gotta get better speakers for the studio. Because them thing you have inside there is called is the Altec Big Red.
Big Red, yeah, the Big Red monitor.
Yeah, the Big Red, right? Can't take the bass. Two, we gotta hire a studio group. And with that we hire Airwise, Angus Moon, David Bootman, myself, and one other person. Oh, Beaver. Beaver was in that. But Beaver ended up working in some studios, right? And Semp and Cage is going back and all, studio fighting studio, right? And that's how the Soca song started. We started to create, anybody come there, that is the crew that's going to do a song for you, right? And and they must get publishing of your song. The Cage always used to take publishing of his song. And that is what caused, how do you call him? Shorty and Cage to fall out. Because although Shorty was not an artist in Cage, he always wanted to be an artist. And but he used to do the music for my show, right? So he used to do the music for my show, So my show, and my show, once I have my show, this is, we don't need to sign Shorty. We have my show. Then my show come on dead, right?
Yeah.
So this is what happened, and this is why now, what do you call him? Shorty said, "Look, sign me." And Kay said, "We will sign you, but all the music got to be published by us." And Shorty said, "I don't want that."
Now hear this. I have a story about Shorty and Cage, right? Which was told to me by one Ellis Chowlin on Deceased, right? I want to find out about. I was told that Mr. Chris Blackwell was in Trinidad. From what I learned after he was, what we say, tracking a BW stewardess, and he came into Cage, and Shorty was there, and like he was listening to a little bit of the thing, and then he came to Shorty and said something to the fact, well, boy, if I want some of this, how much, where you go take? And Shorty said something like, Shorty tell him to talk to me, it had to start at $50,000 or something like that. At which point he turned around and walked out the studio, Chris Blackwell. And Ellis say he fly to Miami or wherever to talk to him, but he never came back. Is any you ever heard that story? Is that?
Absolutely, that really happened. Shorty was an arrogant kind of guy. But there's two sides to this story, guys, right? You have to remember, at this point in time, there was a black consciousness that was going on in Trinidad.
Right, post 1970, right, yeah.
Right, good. So Chris Blackwell, although he's a Jamaican by birth and everything, right, was getting the problem to be signing these artists. And he got real problems to sign Marley, or Marley, right? But he eventually got to, and look at what, the rest is history. But that was the problem he was going through. Chris Blackwell, when I released La 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 TTT, that was signed by Columbia Records, by
Casablanca
Records, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He called me and faxed me home, faxed me a whole big contract to sign because he wanted me publishing, and Kate tell him no. You know.
So you were under a publishing contract with KH.
Eventually, right? Eventually, yes. But that fell apart when KH fell apart.
What was the name of the publishing company?
Is it a KH publisher? I forget the name. I can't remember the name of it.
It wasn't KH Publishing. All right, okay. All right. No problem. We will look back on some old record and see.
It's like Malimba, Karimba, something like that. Kalimba, something like that.
Kalinda? I know there was a label called Kalinda.
That they are their own publishing company too.
Okay.
So there are two people in KH Records I'm fighting all the time for publishing. KH, which is Kerry Richards, and his father, Kerry Richards' father, Richie Records. Right? Both of them always fighting to get publishing. Right? And all of them, every time artists in our studio doing a recording, you will see both of them inside there saying, I want that boy. I want that boy. I can pay this, I can pay that. It used to be a joke inside the studio because Trinidad was not really hip to what publishing was at the time.
Right, yeah.
It was really, really, really new. You know? And that was the bacchanal with Sweet Soca song. Sweet Soca song, anyway. Where want me to go from the...
Well, we had to hear about Sweet Soca song because the whole idea behind this podcast is we want to figure out why it is that we are so-called make it, right?
You didn't make it, you say?
We want to figure out. Well, we ain't had nothing in the top 10 on the Billboard charts and all them things like what they just call make it. I don't mean success. Success is what could be whatever it is, right? But what I'm saying is that you were one of the people who actually was on major label. You had the best players. You had everything. I want why it didn't cross.
We just know.
All right, then Mario.
The Sweet Soca song. Give us some history about that first, because let's build up to it. Was it before Shorty Endless Vibration or after?
Yeah, when I first went to Cage, my first song that I recorded was Sweet Soca song. But what we were doing was we were trying to create this South Caribbean song project, right?
But it would be because they use the word soca, so it was before Endless Vibration. Who Shorty making the claim for soca, right?
Yeah.
So you actually have a song out named Sweet Soca Song before actually Shorty came on the scene to pronounce.
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Okay.
That's
I just
correct.
want to make
You
sure
want me to explain that to you?
Yeah.
Shorty wanted to get signed with the studio. He wanted to get that box. You see the box that we have, the plug-in box to the thing?
Yeah.
But the only way to get that was to sign with KH Records, right? But he didn't want to sign. So what he was doing is that he would go and ask Eric. He'll hire Eric to record it, and he'll hire Wise to record, right? Thinking that if you put the musician together and the engineer, you have it. But Eric cannot use that box. It's not only the box, right?
That is the box Frank put together?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to ask Frank. I'd ask Frank about that box, but I'm curious.
Robin, guys, the box is nothing. All the boxes are equalized in a compressor, right?
Right, but if it's something that everybody was after, it had to have something about it.
Right, because the song coming out of Cage,
Right.
I mean, Eddie Grant and everybody coming to Trinidad because they want our song.
All right. Well, okay.
So that's simple thing.
Then it's something we have to explore. But all right. No, we ain't talking that now. What la da da TTT.
So no, we're talking about right. Okay, good. So why?
So Shorty wanted the musicians and the box, but he didn't want to sign.
He get the musicians.
Right.
He get the musicians. He get the engineer. He pay for the studio. In other words, if he was a signed artist, right? And his publishing goes to Cage, right?
Right.
He would get everything, including the box. Right? But he sort of wanted to sign the publishing, right? That he come and he hire all the musicians, hire them and pay them prime, right? Hire studio time and things. So much so that while he recording that album, Terry Richards coming inside and making sure that he take the box and he lock it in your drawer and all kind of bacchanal going on. This is no joke. Right? So the record come out now, and he and this man doing a review, Ivor Ferreira.
Right.
Ivor Ferreira. And Ivor Ferreira called it Soca. SOCA. Because Ivor always in his studio, Ivor always writing about the Soca project and all this kind of thing that going on in Cage. And make the fucking mistake. And the article says called Soca, right? And here now, man, this band had to backtrack and talk about Shorty. He said, no, this is Soca, Soul Calypso, the Soul of Calypso, SOKH and all kind of thing.
Right.
Because if you only say that was Soca, right? And he said that, they'll have fucking sue him, for copywriting. That was how bad it was then.
All right. Okay.
That's how bad it was then.
All right.
So that situation, do you know that Shorty on his third album eventually gets to use the box?
and the word soca.
And the word Soca, because by that time Cage was gone through. You understand? So that was the end of that. You know what I mean? The Kerry gone, Honor Moon died, Ellis leave long before. You know?
Right.
But that was the era that caused the bacchanal with Soca. So to say Soca is not really any particular type of rhythm or genre to us. The people in the studio, Soca was a way to record calypso so they could hear everything clearly, right? The bass that come from Trinidad and Tobago, the snares, the bass guitar, right? It was had their own space and thing. Before you listen to old time recordings of calypso, it's a big jumble, right? And just brass and vocals. Everything else is just jumbled up in the bar. And we started to separate things, find the correct snares for the meters to put it in, That is what Soca was about. So when people ask me if Sparrow is a Soca man, well, I have plenty of records that we record for Carlos with Sparrow that had the Soca trimmings in it and thing, So that is how this big argument that we get all the time about Soca, right? It's laughable to me. I said I was thinking about it. I say, because you don't find about Soca, ask a DJ. A DJ will do some put on a record, bam. When you see that Soca, that calypso record start to make the people jump up, die Soca. Yeah. You can't put in, you see Miss Mary, boom, boom. But you can't do that, You gotta put in a Soca song, Right? Then you see people that are going.
Right.
That was a recording phenomenon. It whatever better way, that translated into live music. At least that is my opinion.
Just a quick question. So, would you class La 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 TTT as a soca song because it's the name Sweet Soca song? And the next question, would a tourist, how them tourists could now jump up to calypso, could they have danced to La 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 TTT? I know they used to sing it, but I'm not sure if they could have danced it.
I got that right. Nice. In UTT, Dr. Liverpool Chalkner does a thing called the history of calypso, right? And he has a recording of people of American ethnomusicologists saying what the dance of calypso is. And this musicologist took a film of people on the street on Juve in Trinidad in 1950 something, and all they hear in the recording is people feet going on the pavement, right? And he stood up in the recording and showed how Trinidadians dance to calypso. And he just started sliding his feet back and forth on the floor.
That is the Cook recording.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the
you know
Cook
it,
record.
right?
Yeah.
So the people in the world felt that the way the dance calypso is just shuffle the feet back and forth, right? Up comes R&B, and then disco and 4/4 timing, right? And people developing music over this 1, 2, 3, 4, like toop, pa, dancing on it, right? This is what we did with Soca. This is what Soca did. Soca take original calypso. Soca is not just a boxing like Robin or Mario. It's not just a boxing in the studio. That's one part. The other part is the dissection of the calypso beat. But original calypso.
Right. Yes. That is the important thing. Let me hear about that.
Yeah. The original calypso music, the bottom was right? It was on and a syncopated off. On and a syncopated off. You cannot dance to that. Forget it. You can't.
Well, we used to dance to it.
Well, because we as Trinidadians have an overdeveloped sense of rhythm. So the on beat is in our mind. And we're born with that. It's in the DNA, right? That's why we can listen to calypso, like steel bands. Even a foreigner knows hearing steel bands, but that's annoying. How many times in your life have you heard people say, I don't understand steel band, it's so noisy, right? We can hear the music in the steel band, okay? It's the same thing with the rhythm. When I hear me, I don't put no 1, 2, 3 in my mind. I know it is. But popular music.
So calypso was on what? 1 and... the cut time.
Yeah. So there's 1
well, explain cut time.
Cut time is if you have 4 to 4 straight. A straight time is 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut time is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
All right. Okay.
Right. Good. So normally, most in music it called 4 on the floor means 4 kick drums.
4 kick drum, pop.
Yeah.
Right.
Pop, back, pop, back, pop, back. That's 4 on the floor.
No, 4 on the floor is not pop.
Yeah, but the snare is playing the augmented note on top of the bone on the floor, right? So you jump, back.
Right, because they used to say funk is on the 1, like James Young used to have everything boom, back, boom, right? That was that funk. And then they say that the disco people sell out by just going pop, instead of going boom. Well, I've heard them arguments, right?
Disco have its own problems, right? Disco is a black music and it is selling, and then the white people burn down all the disco records in our stadium, right?
Yeah, remember that fella?
That's a famous thing.
Fella in Chicago, yeah. Some Chicago DJ.
Because the disco killed rock and roll. Rock music went out because disco was in. Disco crossed the board.
I was in school in the States when all that happened, when they blow up the records and all that foolishness. And men in all them white people thing was against disco and all them kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Your groups like Tavares and all these real badass groups playing disco, right? And you're wondering how come they're burning the record in the stadium. Is that scene going on, right? Anyway.
All right, now, you're right. So there's the important thing. Mario, you good? I want to ask a question.
Well, he still didn't finish the
let me finish.
Whether it could have danced crossover for a white audience.
La 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 TDT, right, good. La 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 TDT was written in 4/4 time. Right? Right in 4/4 time. Purposely. I wasn't going junk. Ka-jang, I wasn't playing it cut time. I go jang, right? Written on the 4/4 time because that's where I'm going with it. I want people to dance this, right? Okay. I write it in the studio, write 4 guitars, two guitars per side, right? Down the middle. I had no drum in it yet. I just using my mouth on thing going boom, like that on the tape. So we bring in Toby Tobias. Toby Tobias was the first call drummer in KH Studios before Errol White. Toby was the man, right? When Toby come in, Toby put the one set of calypso, right, on the song. So I tell Toby, I said, Toby, how going on, man? He want 4 on the floor, straight up 4. He said, man, I got Trinbago, you know. I only play calypso. Now, where in the fucking world you could hear, you hire a man for a session, and he telling you he playing what he wants. But that was the state of affairs in KH and in Trinidad at the time. Every individual is an entity unto themselves. Toby say, I play what I want, bassman play, you know. But thank God I had Angus Noons and bass, right, and David Bookman on keys. So we got, and I called Beaver. Beaver was at KH record. Sam at this time, right? And then one Beaver to do the session, right? So I sneak him in at a midnight session with Eric, right? Record the piano, right? And then go. So we had the thing down, but no drum track. In fact, whatever Toby put on it, the argument we shall say is, all right, Toby, whatever, right? And it stays, right? And then when they buy the record from Cage Records, Alan Douglas and then from Electric Lady, the first thing they do in the States is put a drummer called Bernard Purdy.
Bernard Purdy play on La 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 TTT?
That drums you hear in there, the Purdy shuffle.
The Purdy shuffle, boy. What the hell?
Right.
I never know all of that, man.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Right, so when I reach up,
great Bernard Purdy, boy.
When I reach up to the studio now with Bradley, right? Bradley and I reach the Electric Lady. But Bradley high out of his mind. That's like he high from the steps of the plane, right? When he reached there, right, and I hear the track, I went mad. I said, "What the hell is Bernard Purdy?" And he's like a hero to me, right? I hear him about his life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, Bradley come now, and Bradley write out the brass lines first, right? Now, when he write it, and the brassman just in the studio practicing, they take his sheet and he write. Bradley can't believe that is what he writes. Because what is happening here now is these brassmen are playing correct intonation, correct measure and thing, right? So Bradley now, for the first time, I don't even know how, I don't want to short sell Trinidadian brassmen, right? Mm-hmm. But they can't play as those guys, I'm telling you. When Bradley hear that, boy, Bradley started, he had simpler things because he writes for like the Trinidadian brassmen in mind, right? Mm-hmm. When he hear all the real things, he write it right there in the studio, you know, right? For them to play over, right? All them things that they can't give a Trinidadian to play.
And I think you used the best session men in New York. It's Brecker Brothers and thing play on that, right?
I'm not too sure. You know who will know more about that?
John Fadis and them, I know.
No, not David. Michael will know more.
All right. Okay.
Michael used to live up in that studio, right? I could not believe my ears. And then here you have big thing, right? Now, if you ever go to Electric Lady, you shall feel it do as a bucket list in your life because it's still there. It's like a museum now, right?
Yeah.
You go, it has floors. Every floor is a different studio, right?
I never go in. I went outside of it by the 8th Street Playhouse in Greenwich Village. I went.
You're right.
Right. Yeah.
But you see, you know, Robin, I from Tunapuna. So okay. I Electric Lady Studios, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like I've gone to Mecca or something, you know. Mm-hmm. The people, they had Jimi Hendrix picture there.
Yeah, well, Jimi Hendrix is who built the studio. Is who was the first owner. Studio? Yeah, it was his studio.
So I go in there, right? And every artist have a tendency in that studio. Like if you're on a session and downstairs, you go upstairs and listen to the session and do a cameo on that session and so forth and so forth. And this is how I end up having Donna Summer, right? But Donna Summer wasn't big at the time. She wasn't big yet. Donna Summer and two other girls that were there, right? One of them left when Donna Summer came, and they were singing the background vocals for La La TV.
Oh,
So they were singing. I write it La Da Da TTT, right? And the reason I write it was because I think that's what the other thing documentary was. There's a calypso by Nelson called La La, right? La 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 La. That was to be road march that year. Every band, everybody, steel band, DJ, everybody played, right? And Eric would just make a call and say, no Tobagonian with the road march in La La. There you go. Right. No, that was it. No, I hear this. I went by Rocky McCollum at the time. When I was in Chandelier, you're doing two albums called Chandelier 1 and Chandelier 2. There's two albums, right? But a medley of calypso, right? And we couldn't get the words from Mama Loka Bubude because Mama Loka Bubude was never recorded, right, on vinyl. So when I go by Rocky McCollum have a recording of it on a reel-to-reel tape that he stung up in front of the tent and tape, how you call it, melody singing it, right? Mama Loka Boo Boo, Day Shock, right? So we get our words from that, right? And while we are there, you have a draw called road marches that also ran. A draw full of road marches that couldn't be road march because of some political reasons, like tourist Lego, right?
Right, I remember that. They changed the rules to say only a Trinidadian could win road march when tourist Lego was up. I remember that well.
You have a draw, it's not I only had no two, right? At my age, right? We have a draw full of them, all the political reasons and ramifications. Anyway, that's all I knew about.
But an important thing I need to know, how you managed to sign with Casablanca Records? How that deal come about?
Okay, good. First of all, it was Alan Douglas. He was the owner of the manager of Electric Lady. He had his own label, right? So he was doing a tour of the Caribbean, looking for talent. Okay? So he came to KH Records, and Kerry Richards knew that he was coming. So we put together a 2-inch tape, the Fat Master tape now. Fat Master tape, right? Of me, Eric Carl Allison, Wildfire, Nappy Myers, right? All of you on a demo tape. So Alan Douglas sit down in the studio and they play all the records. My one was the last one we gave, and the reason for that was La La TT wasn't finished. All I had was one verse and a chorus. I didn't finish the song, right? Because we doing other projects all the time. I didn't other productions in KH, right? So I didn't get a chance to do my own. When the song played the last one, Alan Douglas said, I want that one. And Kerry Richards said, well, that's finished. He said, I will finish it. And that's how it gets signed. They just hear the song and they like it, right? And that's why I had to go up to New York and do all the vocal on it, and the background vocals had to change. Well, the reason I had put La Da Da, I had written it initially as La 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 TTT, yeah? But then this big controversial La La song with Nelson that year, I said, no, let me change the words to La Da Da. That people will say I'm teaching Nelson song, That's all, When I reach up there and the girls try to sing it, as you can realize from a musical standpoint, La Da Da is a hard thing to sing, And Donna Summer say, let me change it to, let's try La La. And then the man who is doing this session, producing this session, is Giorgio Moroder. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Giorgio Moroder produced that song?
Yes.
La La La
At
TTT?
this time now, La 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 TTT gets signed to Casablanca, right? This is how it's going. You see how it works in the business, right? They have these producers that come through the whole Caribbean or going Africa, going South America, and find artists, sign them, and then present that to a bigger label because they'll have bigger distribution, right? And then sell them a price. So that is how the music business working, right? So I get signed to Casablanca, and they're the one financing the background vocals and the studio and all this kind of thing, right? So Maruda is saying to me that they can't change the lyrics because they get permission from the writer. I tell George Morrison, but I'm a writer, right? And I had to sign a document saying that I give myself permission to change the lyrics of my own song to sing. You know that? So that is how that whole thing came about. Let me tell you something now. That song was so massive. Today, look back on it changed everything in Trinidad, how we do things, you know, right? When the amount of money that KH gets for my song, they buy a new mixing board and they're bringing 2 new speakers called 2 Super Reds, right? All new outboard equipment and all this kind of thing. That is just for that side. Then the flip side of that song was called Clapping Soca. I don't know if you ever heard that.
Yeah.
Like it can,
Clap your hands to the soca song. That
yeah.
I know the
That
song.
ended up in a movie called The World According to Gap.
Right. Yes.
So it is going. Your problem with to answer your question, why do you get all these big signings or whatever? There's no follow up. There's no follow through.
That is the point. You see, all right. Now, David Rudder was signed to London Records. Marshall was signed to Atlantic, wherever. And like you would expect something to break through, right? But, you know, David found that London made a whole lot of mistakes. So you all were Casablanca. Casablanca was big. Casablanca had Parliament Funkadelic. They had the very Donna
Village
Summer.
Boys.
They had Village People.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they were like very, very big. So and they bought
For the
it.
disco.
So what did they send it to radio and what happened? Why you don't think it made the Billboard top 40?
Anything. All right. Now remember, Mike, Robin, and Mario. I was the artist here. Okay. I am not. I writing these songs, and if a producer tell me, if Robin come and say, Robin, I need something for this demographic, right? I will study the demographic and I will go for it. But nobody knew what it was. They just hear this song. It come like a novelty song, like a one-time song, you know, like those one-hit wonder kind of thing, where it play on the American Bandstand, and they can't pronounce the word soca, but we play soccer song, you know.
Oh, it played on American Bandstand.
It played on American Bandstand.
Okay, wow.
It's a distribution route, right? Okay, that is where you need somebody like a Chris Blackwell, right? Who could get, because publishing is the name of the game, you know, or distribution and publishing, right? You know, and the first thing Blackwell will tell you is like he wants 5 or 6 songs, you know.
Yeah.
So that so they can have something to push right after, right? I write that how you call it, clapping soca writing when that is the follow up to the soca song. When KH everybody fired in KH, the record plant closed down. The only place running is the recording studio. Kerry Richards gone, Ellis gone, and Moon dead, and they want a follow up to Sweet Soca song. The studio, Casablanca, right? And I inside that studio, me, Eric Michaud, and Clive Bradley, 3 of us alone, right? And we record Clapping Soca. That drums you hear in that song, right? It's me alone with that kick drum on a microphone kicking in the studio, right? And then the snare is when Clive come and put the snare on after. All the background vocals is me and Clive Bradley. There was no That just show you the mood or the status of it, right? When you want to have a song, you have to have a hit song or a breakthrough. You have to have 15, 16 songs in the pike, ready to go, to follow through so the marketing could take a hold of it and push it all over. Right?
All right. So why would you say that the music on a whole, not just your thing, the whole Trinidad music, why we never cracked that whole billboard and all that bacchanal and sell million copies and all them trimmings, what people is always talk about so-called making it in the business. Why that never happened?
Because our target was never that. We were never into mass market. We tend to be very insular in how we do our music. We aim it for what? 30,000 people who buy records in Trinidad, if that much, right? Or download. We aim it to go in this party or that party. We never sit down and say, okay, this is the market out there. What's selling? Like BTS, the Korean group right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Korea invest money, right, in this thing, right? And
yeah, but those places have critical mass, eh? What I'm saying is,
not how about Jamaica? Jamaica make it? Do you think?
well, yeah, the Jamaica diaspora, yeah.
No. Jamaica forever. It's an American chap, maybe small.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is the Jamaican diaspora, all in England and all in everything, they would buy the music. I mean, if a record company wants to take a chance on something and he realize within like the local market, he could at least cover his money, he would be willing to take a chance. But I remember when I had a launch at my record company years ago, somebody, I think somebody was after Anslim Douglas. He was singing, "Everybody jump," right? And then when they found out how much it sold, they said they never saw anybody cause such hysteria and sell so little pieces of product.
Right.
Because we servicing carnivals. That's what we're doing.
We need Trinidad. Look. All right, let me show you a perfect example of what a publisher does. When Chris Blackwell launched with Bob Marley, right, and he started placing in all these different places on there, right? It was only white people following Bob Marley. It is unbelievable. Bob Marley himself couldn't understand why every concert he goes, sell out concert with only a set of white people. So much so that he actually opted to be the opening act for the Temptations to get himself in front of a black audience, right? Because can you imagine what the Temptations and the Supremes and the Jackson 5 and all of them were yearning to do, get into a mainstream white audience because they had the numbers there, right, to sell the records, right? He had to literally go open up to get himself in front of black audience, in front of a Temptation thing, right? That Bob Marley by himself has launched the Jamaican music industry. Think about it. Men like Shabba or other, there is white audience know these guys, Yeah, the diaspora, Robin, of course, the diaspora. But brother, that whole thing with Jamaica, ganja, that
Right.
massive. Massive.
Ice green and gold, ice green and gold, dreadlocks and marijuana. That soul reggae, basically.
Right. Island people. That is help. Even Rihanna, that is help. Even that island ethos. It's like Rihanna in our music. Rihanna is not considered a black American. Rihanna is considered like a Mali, like a island person, like
Okay.
Nicki Minaj and Cardi B.
So,
Trinidad has always been too insular. They have the music, They have the music, But we need to be able. Guys, this is just my opinion now. This is not.
No, well, you're qualified. You're qualified to have an opinion.
We need to start putting ourselves out there as who we are. I mean, our productions need to step up. We need to watch, do the due diligence, watch charts, understand what is happening, the music going on there, right? And don't be afraid to be yourself. Go outside and do it. It'll happen. Lord, I don't understand. I'm too old now for this boy. Robert, Mario.
Mario,
Fight to kill you.
the thing here is ask everybody about the remixes. Ask Robin about it now and see what he think.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I always look at La TTT, I don't feel it need a remix though. I just feel it need remastering because the elements are there, and the feel of the music is there, But it just probably need a little remastering somehow, probably put in a more modern day drum, but not too much of a remix because the music is there. Actually, your same partner Eddie was asking about that here. I mean, and DJs want to play the song, but probably they just need a little, as I say, remastered a little more, Same feel though, because you can go and remix it and you will lose the feel in the remixing, But
let me answer that question for you, right?
Yeah.
When I first do the mix, first of all, I didn't do the mix at all. From the time I finished singing that record, it was out of my hands. Everything was Casablanca, right? The problem with that, I find, they give it too much of a AM radio mix, A-weighted mix, right? No top end, no bottom end, right? So you're getting this kind of low mid finish on it, right?
Yeah.
And strange thing about it, boy, out of Casablanca is getting all those full end mixes from Parliament and Donald someone thing. How come they didn't give it that treatment on La 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 TTT? And the reason for that simply is that they wanted to go for white audiences. So AM radio, incredible as it sounds, right? Now when you hear it on our AM radio and it sounds good, right? When you put it on an FM station or even a DJ set, it's lacking, right? And many times they call me Rod Cinto from who's the original. Let's call them line producers. So every producer of a line guy will stay in Trinidad or stay in Antigua or whatever and produce the song and then bring me tracks, right? And he always calling me, right? To say let's do a remix of it. The thing about it, the tape got burnt up in KH,
Ooh.
That was the problem with it, right? So the original, to do a remix properly, you need to get the 16 track, and you pull out all the parts and you put it back in, whatever was good to stay, you have modern technology.
Well, as I was trying to explain, from a sound engineering point of view, there's two types of remix. You can take the 16-track tape and remix the tracks that are there. But when people when a DJ like Mario speak, remix usually mean that, you take the vocals or you just take the rhythm and you add something and you put in a little more this or a heavier snare or actually kind of reproduce the song. When they call, that is what the DJs just call remix. Right. What we sound engineers just call remixes when you put the original tape back on and mix it.
Talk about Mario.
No.
That could be possible, Mario. That could be possible. But I own the publishing to the song now. So.
Okay.
But the song still has some potential. I mean, but what I wanted to know is whether let's say a mainstream audience, the same thing they were geared up at, were they able to dance to that song? Or did it have that calypso beat that they couldn't be in the rhythm of the song?
No, it was straight up. You see them dancing. At the time on American Bad Dance, they had this kind of Nothing from nothing means that kind of dance.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they could
People
do
were
it.
doing that in the song.
Yeah, but they produce it as a kind of light sounding shoot for the white kind of audience. A sunshine song, summertime.
When Napier, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Like a summer song.
Right.
You know, like that.
It wasn't street. Right, yeah,
Nah.
that's what you wanted it to be. You wanted it to be, yeah.
Why not? Right?
Right, yeah.
But guys, it's a lesson. Learn. I mean, I make some money. I get about 34,000 US for it, and the first thing,
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest money I've ever seen in my life at the time.
Right.
Right?
Then I know you went away and you was a kind of big PA guy and all them kind of things,
I Robin, the strange thing about this is, boy.
Yeah.
I was never a PA man. I was a songwriter and musician. But I had to get into this thing out of this because there was a demand, When I do Jackson 5, right? I do engineer for Jackson 5 show,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when we were doing it, right, I had to go and rent PA system from all the bands in Trinidad, right? And put it together in the Savannah.
It wasn't Edgar Foon.
No,
that was before Edgar.
No, Edgar was on the show,
Mm-hmm.
right? The show was brought in by Spectacular Forum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Claude and Frank Martino, right?
Yeah, I went to the show.
So they come to Cage now, and they say they're bringing it in. And you know why they come to Cage? It's because the Prime Minister involved with it, right? So Cage drives, right? Good, so we're going, right? Chinese connection, right? Say no more. So they come and they say, asking me if I could put a PA system together. I had lots of her. I had a pair of Altec, right? And a acoustic mixing board. It was a 12-channel mixing board with 3 monitors in it. That is what we use in the Jackson show, 12 channels and 3 monitors in, 3, right?
Mm.
And to get the PA together, I had to go by air. I go all down in Shogunas by those Indian people that they have PA system and things. And this was good for Indian wedding and things.
AM and FM songs. Yeah.
FM, I went all the south the production song. I don't even know what it's called. Joy
Production. Joy Production.
Joy Production, yeah.
I get bass from him, right? And I put the whole thing together. And I've asked Edgar, I said, Edgar, I wanted to build a small mixing board so I could plug all the speakers into it. So I could just get 2 coming to the mixing board. And he built this little thing with the so you build a panel that all the speakers could plug into, right? And we put it up in the Savannah. When the Jackson 5 come to sound check, and they see the PA system, here the first thing they do. Marlon Jackson comes to me and says, "What is that?" No, I thought he joking, right? I thought he trying to fuck me up, He really didn't know what that was, Because they're not accustomed playing on a big PA system. You see, this is the thing with black artists at that time in the 1970s, right? They weren't allowed to play in the big halls and so forth, right? So they
Jackson 5? Jackson 5 was big.
Not that time. Not that. Jackson 5 became so big, right? That people don't realize all them artists, Commodore, Jackson 5, Cool and the Gang, all of them come inside there, Martino Bring. Coming inside there because Jackson 5, when they play on the PA system and they hear old song, they talk reach back to the States, they had to come to Trinidad, but you're getting concert venues to play in. Concert venues, being like a Radio City or something like that Jackson's not playing in yet, right? But these bands would come to Martino. Martino would get them at a cut price or summer price and get all these big groups to come because they want to play on big PA in Trinidad and Tobago. So this is how I get into this PA business in a row. It was someone trying to make a point about Trinidad, the first Miss World, Miss Universe, both black Miss Universe, right? And that Trinidad could do this, right? And then this massive PA system and this beautiful concert. 2 days. Hear this now. That was look. When the show started, the first day, the 2 days, when the first show started, I'm mixing. Rose on stage, she's the opening act. Rose singing, and I give her a microphone, the best microphone we have, which at the time was one of the old Shaw's with a switch on it.
Unidyne, the silver one. Yeah.
So Rose singing, I'm going down, and she switched off the microphone while she's singing, right?
Yeah.
So all I hear is,
And I put a piece of tape on that, boy.
Look, when you reach that stage, you have to be like, you're learning more than this. Of course, after that, right? And then you design microphone, start to make the microphone with a little clip on the switch.
Right. You could, right. So the switch can't switch off, right?
Right. So that wasn't so yet.
Unidyne and Unisphere.
So she's singing things, she turn off the microphone, right? And when the microphone go off, boy, on the mixing board, and the grandstand mixing it, and the only pelting cork and copper thing on me, right?
Yeah.
When it did, bacalao started, and
yeah, boy.
Edgar fool in front of stand up so like a peacock. When the cork started the pelt, boy, I wanted a duck and going on that chair thing, but can't handle that pressure, right? At the same time, she take the microphone and she throw it on the stage.
Okay.
She fed up. As it hit the stage moment, the microphone come on.
Yeah, boy. Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
boy. Some people as Galix for everybody else mistakes. Tell me about it. I know about that. That is my story of my life.
Oh, I remember you catching your ass in the studio in a show, running cable, kicking people, and they don't really care. You know what I mean?
Oh,
we pay the price.
Yeah. So, all right. So, it's getting late, and I want Mario to reach home before the curfew. All right. I don't want to have to go and bail him out nowhere and help him pay no $10,000. So, so just moving forward, what we have to do now to make sure the music.
No, just one question.
All right, yeah, let Mario ask you a question.
Now, Robin, when I listened to a lot of your music over the years, there was a lot of, let's just say, it was a time when you could experiment a lot in the music. You know, you would do calypso. Actually, a soca would sound different if you listen to songs like Johnny and Frenchman and stuff like that. So there was a lot of experiment in the music, and I could see that he was trying to get the music to another level, probably to hit the Billboard, which was probably the ultimate goal, you know. And it was different to the calypsonian way of doing music from a DJ perspective. You know, they had that, your drum machine seemed to be different. Things seem to be a lot different, right? Coming back to the question with Robin, where he heading anyway, is what you think could be done now? Because it was really an exciting time, your time, when you would, you can't be considered only a soca artist. You're an all-round artist doing everything in the music, right? That's what make it interesting. Nowadays, we don't have that. Well, I ain't seen that from artists. We only have, you either come into one category, soca, and that is it. Or calypso, right? So moving forward, what suggestions you have? Because your time was really exciting. And now we only gain one thing.
Oh God, boy. Mario, okay. Our focus years ago to make money out of music, right? And to make money out of music meant that you have to sell records.
Right.
To sell records, you have to be in the standard. To get into the party, you have to have certain levels of music, certain levels of recording, certain levels of lyrics, certain So you have to push for that, because to sell records, you cannot depend on selling records in Trinidad to make a living. You understand?
Yeah.
That is what drove us. That was where we experimented on different ways to record so that people could understand what we were saying and what we were doing. And when you put it up against a Madonna or whoever, we could say something, right? I think music what has happened in Trinidad is that they have forgotten about that. They're more to the next Soca Monarch or the next Road March, and then do some concerts in the diaspora and come back home, right? There is the musicians themselves are not being driven by record sales, you see? Yeah. They are driven by putting out a record, trying to get out of the Soca Monarch and win a prize, or do a tour and make some money and come back home. That is what is happening here, right? The drive with the advent of KH records, right? The drive to sell internationally is gone. We don't want to sell. We settle right now within our diaspora, right? Artists do not depend on record sales or downloads for a living, you know.
Right,
Whereas
right.
Taylor Swift, right? Whole tours is lining up. You know, a concert deal is lining up.
Right. We used to say that. We used to say that people outside used to go on tour to promote the record. And we used to make a record to promote the tour. You know?
Exactly so, Robin.
Right, yeah.
And it's because let me tell you something, guys. It is hard to bust through in our market. It is hard.
Because we would say about Caribbean Song Basin, they had the kind of capital like when they first started, like or maybe even more than KH, and they had a focus. That's all they used to talk about: Billboard chart and this and that and that. So why you think that didn't come true as well?
I think again. Okay, what will make an artist happen? How come they didn't have no KH records behind Bob Marley? Or they didn't have no Caribbean Song Bob Marley, right? It was what? A music publisher. This is Chris Blackwell, right?
Oh, so we needed a Blackwell figure here.
Or many of them, you know, because we have plenty music here, you know. Plenty good writers and good things, right? It's just that they're not writing. A good writer. All right, let's say like Showin. Is it Showin, boy? You want to sing dum 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 dum. When I wake up this morning, you're a winner.
That is Voice or one of them fellas.
Voice, but the rhythm that they're using. Not Voice.
Where's the boy from? He living in Canada, right?
Yeah, right. But these are
Cohen Dubois.
Cohen Dubois,
right.
Beautiful writer. Right? Even the one he did the other day with this girl from Trinbago, right? I love this music, boy. You know. Who guaranteed you tomorrow? Who guarantee you tomorrow?
Right. Yeah. No. Right? These so-called groovy soca is some beautiful songs. We have really good songs.
The ones that we can make it out
right.
there.
Yes. No.
Look at it.
Songs.
But you see, those guys writing and then thinking about just tell a writer, right, where you want your music to go, and he will go. And if you write it and know where to go, you go just you looking right down the road. Where can make our money? From that, right inside there for carnival. And get a few parties, boom, like everything right. If you tell that writer, listen, I am going to put you out there, you're going to sell so much downloads, whatever, they will go for it. But there's nothing there.
No, but I understand as Kenny Phillips was saying, and saying that the Sun and them making serious money outside off of downloads and thing, you know. You say a lot more than we ever made back in the day selling records and thing. That's what he say. I don't know how true. I'm not in the business. really again, you know.
How would you expect in this day and age? You all have heard of the K-pop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, right? You know how big these guys are, man. I mean, Mario should know this, you know. This K-pop is a big, big, big deal, you know. And they have the method, right? And it's like a commodity in Korea. Trinidad don't have that talent. Trinidad have that talent, boy.
But they could sell millions in Korea self, eh? They ain't have to, you know, they're selling all around the world, but you know, but we, as I was saying, we ain't had the critical mass, you know, like even a fella Ransom in Africa, he might have been able to sell so much in Nigeria because they had the population, you know, but so we had to come up with a different strategy.
Right.
But I think this song's good enough, eh? Just we had to find a way to get it out there and
Absolutely, Robin. Bring the production of the mark, bring the distribution of the mark, publishing, and keep look, ABBA, the big Swedish group, bam, the Swedish government say, wait a second, you have money in this, boy, here we go do. We put in a publishing school and instruments in every high school in Sweden, right? The number one writers in the world today, from Rihanna go back, is from Sweden. Them writing, that was the thing, you could write, right? So, come on, man. We, Trinidad, as I told you in the beginning of this talk, all through the Caribbean, they always used to say Trinidad are the best musicians. No, that don't ever translate into anything.
well, I don't know. You tell me.
You know, you asked me a question there, Mario, right? And all I could give you is a kind of dark answer, right? But history has shown that without increasing the market for the artist, you will not create a cultural move into making Trinidad something massive in the world of music, eh? Because you have to increase the market. Because you only have 30,000 people. You have to tell yourself, okay, where is it? And you move the market out, you know? Yeah. That's just my thought.
But they don't know how to move the market out. That's the main thing. They have these songs.
Because they never knew. Our country that live their whole life with their wealth coming out the ground. So they feel that they never have to sell nothing in their life to survive. You understand? So you know, tell them, man, you know something, music, publishing, that's like talking Greek to them. You know, Robert, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, boy. All right. So, Mario, we good?
Yeah.
Robin, if you have any other questions, ask him, you know.
No, thank you for the contribution. Because, you know, we learn to appreciate it more as time goes on, and I think maybe others will appreciate it more. Because when you look back at your repertoire, you would see so many different types of music, and that is something that we could really appreciate, you know. So thank you for the
Thank you so much, guys. This is very important what you're doing here.
Very, very important. Yeah, this is the history. This is the history of Trinidad and Tobago we are discussing here.
Absolutely. And we are very lacking in documenting things that are happening.
Right. Well, let me try and same way we make mistakes in the past, and we need to do this too. All right. All right. So Robin. Lord Father, we knew it was good, right?
Stay blessed.
All right. Stay blessed, man, Robin.
Yeah.
Thanks a mil.
You guys.
All right.
Right.
Until.
Until.